From Australia, from Sydney, welcoming you, Tango One live. We have an exciting show tonight. We are going to be joined by an incredible couple from Seoul. My name is Anthony. I'm your host tonight. The idea is to chat, to talk to different tango personnel, tango incredible people from different parts of the world, and to share some time together, to share our addiction to tango. The idea is to connect with people, and the idea is to connect to tango. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure to introduce and welcome Flor and Leo.
Hi there.
Hello.
So nice to see you both. It's amazing to see you. You know, last week we were in Melbourne. Then the week before that we were in Singapore. Of course, all virtually, but the guests are real, of course. And tonight we are so blessed to have both of you here from Seoul. Flor, how are you doing? So nice to see you.
So good to see you too. We are doing well.
Looking incredible.
Thank you.
We're happy to be here.
Fantastic. You both actually, it looks like, I saw you, when was that? Last year? No. Yeah, I saw you last year, of course, in Tokyo. But before that, I saw you also in Pohang as well. So we see each other quite regularly. But you have not changed whatsoever.
It feels like a long time, but it's actually not that long. It's like, I think we all see each other very often, and suddenly we don't see each other much, so it feels very long, but it's only like half a year. It's not so long.
True.
Good to see you too.
But
you look good.
Things what's happening around, it's all very crazy, very incredible, right? You know, there is a lot to know about you too. But before I ask you about all tango, I always wanted to know one thing. How did you two meet?
I go. Do you know there's a milonga in Seoul called Tango ONE?
Yes, of course I do know.
That's where we met. I was visiting and she was there, so I asked her to dance, and that's where we met.
Incredible, because you're from Hong Kong originally.
Yeah, at the time, I grew up in Hong Kong until I was 18, but at that time I was in the US. And
that's right.
I was traveling in Asia a little bit, and I happened to be in Korea and went to a milonga, and that's where we met.
That is incredible. So tango brought you together?
Yes, very much so. Very much so.
Typical
Actually,
traditional cabaseo?
No.
At that time, very untraditional, no cabaseo. I just went up to her. And actually, because I was at that time, the tango here was not so big, and I was a new face, so she was kind of curious who this person is. And
No, actually, I thought he's some beginner.
oh, okay.
Some beginner, he don't know me. I'm teacher, but he just come approach and give me hand. So I feel, what the beginner he is, and he don't know nothing. But he asked me, should I embarrass him or not? And I just accept. And then I realized he's not a beginner.
And I couldn't speak much Korean then, so we could not talk so much, but we danced. We actually remember the exact spot where we met in Onada. So a lot of history there.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Flor, you've been teaching in Korea already at that time?
Yes, because I just got the win in the competition 2004 in Buenos Aires, and then I came back and I met him 2005. So I was kind of popular in Seoul already. And many people is a bit scared about me, so people do not ask me so much. And I never see his face, so I thought he's a beginner.
Right.
And in the time also, there's not so many foreigner visit Seoul, so also
Yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't thought he's a foreigner.
So how come the scene in Seoul it grew so much from that time? You say that the scene wasn't that big, and now it's
No,
incredibly big.
I think there's many situations combined together. One is we have some special system we call it a 동호회. It's a kind of some tango club. It's an amateur club. They interested same hobby and then they just share their hobby. We have a that culture for everything, even car, autobike, or some racing kid or whatever. And then we have a tango community also. And that is very common. So people each to approach. Everybody can approach whoever they are interested. And also Korean people really love to singing and dancing and drinking. So tango is the one kind of that culture. Very Latin Argentinian culture. It's a fit with the Korean. And then also there's a several moment about they can meet the real culture of the tango. Like internet is a spread and the YouTube is a start. And also we actually invite Javier Rodriguez since 2007, right? And he come and he start to teach about tango culture instead some tango movement and technique. And that is a really big impact and then change everything.
Right.
Eh,
Right.
For me, something I saw is that she talked about the tango part. Outside of tango, the general life in Korea actually is really good for developing tango because the nightlife is very popular. People already love eating and drinking until very late at night. Things are open late at night, and it's not so expensive. And also at that, when I first came in 2005, not many people speak English, or people are shy to meet foreigners. But now many more people are speaking English and they really want to meet foreigners. So during this transformation of Korea of opening up to the other countries, tango grow at the same time. It's a very good. They are very eager to meet foreign friends, dance with foreign friends, and also travel abroad to meet their friends. I think that also really helps the development of tango here.
And that's how you went into to create a festival. It was what year was that? 2008 or
That's a good
2009?
question. The first year was 2009. What happened was we have dance in Asia, and both of us saw the festival in Taipei, which was I think the first international
Yes.
festival in Asia, and we thought it was really great. We really learned a lot and feel many things there. And then at some point we felt it would be great if Korea also have such a festival because at that time the Korea community is growing, many people are dancing, but partly because of the language barrier, also because Koreans are not used to interacting with foreigners a lot at that time. Why don't we make a festival to bring foreigners and maestros to Seoul? People can mix and mingle, and it would promote sort of exchange in Korea and in Asia. So you're right, that's a big purpose.
Well, you created an incredible festival for sure, both of you. I mean, it has invited always top maestros. Surely there is a formula for that, to create such an incredible festival.
Actually, we are very concerned about the select the maestros because, as you know, Asia is the opposite side of the Buenos Aires, and the cultural wise, it's very far away. Even Asian is a very close to mind compared with some Western people about meeting some each other's gender or some kind of socializing. You know, some Argentinian culture is a very, very different. So we select the maestros more for that kind of spreading culture instead some technique, because there's a many teacher visit Seoul also. There's a many workshop, and then there's a many teacher already teaching good technique. We can watch some technique on the YouTube already, but there's not so many maestros. They can send us their history and then some culture, their spirit. So we try to select some that kind of maestro in our festival.
Yeah, making the festival was not easy. I think we were a little bit lucky also, because at that time, Tango was growing well here, Tango was growing well in Asia, but there were not so many international events yet. And it was really the right moment. People are ready for big events, people are ready for learning from maestros, so people are ready for more traveling. So that was, I think, good timing for us. Just happened that we decided to do it at that time.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you had constantly, I mean, it was incredible to see, at least we knew that Javi will be there for sure, originally with Andrea, of course. And it was incredible always to learn from them. And I think that had a big influence on the whole tango culture there.
You mean Javier and Andrea?
Yes.
Yeah, that was for us anyway. Our perspective, because we are the organizer, we invited them, and he's our teacher. Andrea was our teacher, so from our perspective, it was very important. We really liked them because I still remember, even before the festival, they came to teach workshops for 2 years, and they talked a lot about tango that is outside of figures and technique. Figures and technique, of course, are important.
Yes.
Without them, we cannot dance. But there's also a lot of stuff around the dance that is a little bit difficult to get if I just go to Buenos Aires and observe, or it's a little bit hard to ask the maestros because usually during workshops they're so busy. But Javier and Andrea, they managed to talk about it in the class structure. They managed to steer the class to talk about those things. I'm sure you have been to their classes a lot.
But it's important really to reveal that. Also, therefore, I would say that tango is not only the move, and you can see people are dancing to the same music, but then you recognize tango in one couple, you recognize maybe not that much tango in another couple.
That is hard to say. I think the great thing about tango is each person is free to have your perspective, and all of us have very strong opinion of what kind of tango we like. And the great thing, actually, one thing that we talked about Javier and Andrea before, one thing great they taught us, it's about respect. He said in the milonga, the most important thing is respect. Respect for the other people who are dancing, respect for the floor, respect for the milonga, and many of the traditional code or many of the etiquette, it come from you just want to respect other people. And like you say, of course, we all have our opinion. I really love this couple, or well, this couple is not really my style, and that's okay as long as we know about respect for other people in the milonga. And that's to me why milonga is so interesting, because there's just so many different kinds of people there for us to observe.
Also, I think that is important. Javier and Andrea told us is tango is like an elephant, and then we are very small. We only know one part of the elephant, but it does not mean other people's their focusing is not tango. It's not elephant. It's also, but for us in that moment, very important is Javier and Andrea. They have decide to teach about most hard to give to the people, like invisible part, like some spirit or some kind of mindset or attitude or some cultural things, and they decide to teach that part. And for us, that is a very important because it's so hard to get it from all anywhere. Even we went to Buenos Aires, people have to talk about it. They don't talk about it, or they don't need to talk about it because they already know.
Yes,
but for
that's
us,
correct.
for us, we never know until they told us. So in that moment, what they teach is very fit. And also, Javier told us, Andrea also told us, so there's only good tango or bad tango. So other people teach some ear of the elephant. It does not mean they are bad tango. They told us. So we also learn about respect other people's tangos from them.
Yeah. Well, look, you have certainly always able to organize most amazing maestros in festivals for sure. So that I remember many of them, of course, hard to mention them now. You know, one thing actually, you have announced that last year it was your last festival in that series, the Seoul Tango Festival. I suppose it was an super easy decision for you. I'm joking.
Yeah, it was super easy.
If we knew what's going to happen this year, then it would be super easy.
Right, exactly. Predictable.
Before I just want to say also thank you for coming to our festival for so many years, and also telling people about it in Australia. And it's really great that we can hear your music.
It was always amazing honor and pleasure to be there, part of the festival. But also for us Australians, we always say, "Oh, the Seoul Tango Festival, we must go there. Let's see how to organize it." Right. So that's how it was. Now, how do you foresee the future in organizing international festivals after the pandemic?
About events, it actually relates a little bit to what you said earlier about our decision to stop, because I think starting from 2010, there were a lot of events everywhere, and there are many very good organizers, good quality events, and Koreans are traveling a lot outside, and many people are coming to Korea to dance. So actually, for a while, we felt maybe the purpose of our event has been served, and we can put that down and try to do some other things. Of course, it wasn't easy to just put it down, but that's sort of the main motivation. And we actually also talked to Javier about it, because we started the festival with him, and he came every year. And I think he understood. He thinks it's sad to stop. There's a lot of good things about it. We also understand. And we hope after the coronavirus is under control, like whenever the vaccine comes out and whenever we can get vaccinated, then everything will resume quickly. But we don't know. We don't have more information than other people. But it seems it's hard to even start to plan or think about international events at this moment. I think the next step probably is to resume local classes and milongas, make it as good as before.
Now this pandemic situation is so very sad, because not only we cannot make some tango event, it's hard to
to make people together.
Yeah, how to make the people together, because human being, we need some intimate relation, some kind of human touch.
Yes.
And we need to feel some warmness from each other. But this pandemic, they are blocked. Everybody isolated. everybody be alone. And before we got healed, we got warm from each other. But now the situation, we have to afraid about I move the virus or I got the virus from other people. That is a big tragedy. But hopefully, like we have a history about some dark period of the tango. Also, we can survive. We can pass this moment. The tango will gonna come back, I believe.
Yeah. So you started classes already?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in Korea there was a lockdown from like the whole world from March and April, and then in the beginning of May they opened up again. So we started classes again in May, and we have been doing classes for the past 4 months, and it's going well considering how the rest of the world is going. We're very lucky in Korea; things are under control. But since 2 weeks ago, I think the second wave or the third wave, it's coming, and every day there are like 300-400 new cases. So this week, from yesterday, for 1 week, it's like semi lockdown. So we have to stop our classes for this week. And actually, that relates to events, because if you want to make an event, you have to plan and receive registration far ahead of the date. But right now things are so unstable. If everything, you plan the event, you're going to start the event, but a week, 2 weeks ago there's another outbreak, then you have to cancel or you have to scale it down. It's too unstable environment.
Actually, we had some plan about some event we are supposed to be performed there. But suddenly the situation, like 2-3 days ago before the event, they canceled it. So we couldn't make it. This is happening.
Right. You know, when you said that you started the classes, you wear masks. The students are wearing masks, or you were without a mask. This is just me to look at how we are running it as well.
We like have forced the student to keep wear the mask, and even we like a sweet rotation partner, no? Rotate partner every 2-3 rotation. We need to clean our hand.
Yes.
We are trying to be super careful about it.
The funny
It's
thing
very
is,
much the same.
yeah, we have masks. We check the temperature. We also wash the hands. But there are some new students actually who started taking our classes during this time. But they always wear a mask. So we don't really know what they look like. And
We don't know the
we only
face.
see their eyes, and for some reason, the masks make people look
Different.
more cool, more handsome, more beautiful. It seems. And it's like, well, one time after class, there was this.
I'll
group
start
dinner,
wearing
went to
masks
group
from
dinner.
now on, right? That's it.
Yeah. And after class one time, there was this group dinner, and everybody took off their mask, and I'm like, oh, that's what you look like, and it was very shocking, actually.
You know, because you've been conducting workshops in different parts of Asia, in China, I suppose you have conducted workshops there as well, no? Do you find the same interest in other countries, the same as in Seoul?
You mean the same level of interest in tango?
The same level of interest, yeah, sorry.
I think it's the same everywhere. It just feels like the different places is going through their history, starting their history at different point. Like in China, there were some newer communities, so when we went there, it felt more like when I started tango before in San Francisco, or in some even smaller communities. And then there are big places like Hong Kong or Taipei, which is tango for a long time. But yeah, the level of interest, it's always there.
Sure. That's what I experienced as well. You know, talking about starting when you started, I'm going back a little bit historically for both of you, actually. What made you continue with tango? Because I experienced that many people try it out and say, okay, this is for me, or maybe it's not for me. But there is one or maybe some elements that they will say, okay, this person will stay with tango. And I'm trying to find the motivation there. What made you continue with tango?
Me, like us personally? That's a good question. Because in the beginning, tango, I think, is frustrating for everybody. It's not a easy dance, right? Unless you're you're very talented or you have some physical back, you control your body, you know the music. But still, it's not easy, and it was a struggle for everybody. I think for me, what made me really stick with it is it was in one of the beginners classes. Maybe I learned tango for like a month. Usually the course are 2 months, and I was total beginner, and I was practicing with some people in the class, and there's some moment I think I felt a connection with the other person. It's a feeling I haven't felt before, and for those who dance tango, I think we all know what we're talking about. We all know what I'm trying to explain, but it's very hard to put into words, this kind of connection in tango. But for some miracle, I kind of felt it for maybe half a song or 20 seconds during the practice. And I was very curious what that is. And so that, I think, really made me want to keep learning and keep going, although it was kind of hard.
Flor, you don't mind sharing the same thing?
Question is the tango was hard in the beginning, but what made you stay personally?
I think it's a similar feeling because every time I describe about the feeling of the tango is you are a kid and then you are dancing on your father's feet. For the woman's point of view, I step on my father and he move, I move. That feeling is it's like a connection, you know. Somehow I don't do my own, but he make me move. He make me dance. That is a incredible feeling. It's amazing. So that is a very attractive to me.
Yeah. And when you go to, thanks for sharing it. That's really amazing to know how we all stay in tango. You know, some people may stay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just want to add is, it's like when I started, I think in my late 20s or 30s. But it's like I have lived as a human being for a while, and you don't get a new sensation so easily in life. I mean, you read things, you watch things, you receive new information, you learn new things about the world. But in terms of like physical sensation, that goes really deep into yourself, there's not a lot of things like that. And now we talk about this, I realize that sensation was it's like magic, and there's not so much magic in my life anyway. Mm-hmm. There's not so much, it doesn't happen so often, right? Life is life. It happens once in a while. So, but that was a big magical moment. So I think that's why it kept me in there.
Yeah.
The music is incredible, of course. That's an absolute fundamental part to it as well. And the lyrics, like you just go, it's so crazy, right? It's amazing. Yeah.
I know.
Amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Well, when you go to different places to festivals, and we believe that things will be sorted out, things will move forward into something incredibly new normal, and we will go to different festivals in the future as well. What makes you go to these events, to festival or a marathon, or just go to Milonga? What is that say, okay, I'm going to pack up and go?
Maybe we have different reasons. For me, I think every country get tango, understand tango, and go through tango in their own way because they have their own original culture. And I personally am curious to see how each place adopts or adapts to tango, or what they see is the important thing in tango for them. So we are very curious about that. So that's one reason why I wanted to travel. Like, I think 2 years ago, I went to Ukraine. That was very, very, very interesting. And then a while back, we went to Italy. That was also very interesting. And we also, there are many places we haven't been to. We want to go. And whenever, traveling, flying is okay, we want to go and see. And of course, going there, but then there will be some familiar faces like you there, then that make it extra special. But seeing how tango develops and works in different places, I think is very interesting to me.
Yeah,
For me, it's
sure.
one is a reputation, the other one is a friends. Because the reputation make us curious. We want to go and check. And then friends means somebody who know about tango and then same interest, same connection, same kind of focusing. That friend. And if that friend want to make an event, I want to help. That two reasons.
Right. Okay. Well, look, as I indicated before, time will go just like this. So time has gone so quickly, but I have one more question before we go.
Please.
If you don't mind. What would you like to see in tango differently after the COVID?
You mean in Korea, or in the world, or in ourselves?
You
Anything?
decide. I would like to hear in Korea, of course, but because we travel all around, that would be good to know around as well.
I think it relates to what you talked about earlier. When I first came to Korea and met her, it was 2004 or 5, and tango was not so big, and it was possible for us to have some idea. Okay, we want to work in tango, and this is kind of the direction we want to go. Let's do that, and then have some people who happen to trust us to sort of follow, and we feel, at least between us, we were able to steer the community towards some direction with some sense of success. But the tango world now, here and in Asia, in the world, of course, it's huge, and there are so many people doing so many things. And for me personally, I don't know how long this is going to last. Maybe 1 more year, 2 more years before it becomes kind of like before. I really hope actually my own tango becomes more mature and deeper, and maybe have a little bit of new direction, new understanding. Then I'm equipped to do what I'm interested to do really fully when things resume, and it can go on to some direction. I think it's a time for me to better myself sort of more internally. Before, we had more classes, the festival in the studio, which takes me away from myself a little bit. Now it's time to focus on myself.
By the way, for those of you that you don't know, it is the El Bulin
Yes.
studio. Well, just to
Yes,
make sure that we
yes.
all remember.
Yeah,
Flor,
we
I'm
knew
sorry,
that.
you were-
We just happened to close our studio and finish our festival before this hit, so we're very lucky about that. So now I try to study, try to learn, try to listen, and make my own tango more mature, hopefully.
Some good thing about this situation, if I become very positive, is a time for look back ourselves. Because before I felt tango is developed so quickly forward, and somehow they are very much focusing about technique and some fancy movement or some kind of appearance. They are not so much focusing inside. But actually, this situation, we are missing tango so much, and probably after that, the technique and then fancy aguja, hiro and nusuke is not important. We want to hug each other. And hopefully, after this pandemic, people really focusing the real meaning about tango, hug each other and share their warmness and then give some positive energy to the earth. I hope that we're gonna come.
We all hope so. That's incredible vision, and we all hope that will happen for sure. Well, Flor, Leo, thank you very much for sharing your tango with us, your views and your story. It is like having a coffee, but not really being in contact.
Well, I want to say thank you so much for doing this with us, and for the people who are watching. Anthony has spent a lot of work, attention to details to make everything work. There's a lot of behind the scene things that he's doing. He's a great producer and interviewer. So thank you so much for your effort to keep the tango world going. And just want to say, we wish everybody have good health and strength and patience to deal with this period. So we'll all meet again sooner than later.
Okay, thank you so much. I hope I can give you and then all the friends who watching this video and give them real hug as soon as possible.
Thank you. Very nice of you. Well, good night, everybody, and we'll see each other next Monday.